This is a visual explanation on how we make different types of dry stack walls on our property. Watch carefully and try it out for yourself. Once you've gathered enough of these rocks, you need to know how to install these rocks so that they don't move and they're very safe for your family and guests to use. Quick guide how we do these forever stone walls. There's no cement in these. There's a couple of things that are really crucial. One of them is this angle, okay? There's a lot of people that don't want to give up, a foot or a foot and a half of land in their garden, so they want to have the wall completely straight. It's actually a lot harder to do. So in this case, we have a couple of different sizes of rocks. When we're sloping them backwards, we're using an advantage. There's a lip on this rock, and this rock goes behind that lip, so it gets tightly placed in there. Another really important thing is that your lines go like this. So you don't have a straight line with joints. So your lines go like this. They're all staggered. So that's very important to do it like that. And you always have to test your walls. You have to basically push them. Afterwards, you have to walk on them. There's kids that are going to walk on top of this. This can't move afterwards, right? So that's this example here. Okay, so this wall here is the same version as what I just showed you, but it's almost perfectly on a 90-degree angle. And this is a much tougher wall to do, but what you really have to do is get stones that interlock with each other. And we have used a little bit of cement here and there, just because it's such a steep wall. We took all the plants out of here so you can see what's going on, all the growth. So there's these little cavities here, and the lizards love those. They just absolutely live inside there. It's just crazy how many lizards can live inside these walls. So again, nothing will move. And once you get the plant material growing inside here, it changes everything. The roots create like a buffer to help the walls from moving. And when you get to the top, you get a little bit smaller, not a lot smaller, just a little bit. What I mean by that is, so you're using bigger rocks, a couple big rocks in between. Over here, Dario, there's a really big rock in there. This guy, he goes way back. So this is like a keystone. It goes back probably 60 centimeters. I remember this being a really big rock. And this guy will support another big guy and then smaller rocks. So this idea of actually having a couple of really big rocks in between the walls, in the wall, will actually help a lot. Okay, so you can see that these stone walls are basically establishing themselves. If that sounds funny, it isn't. The plant material will grow inside there. The moss will grow inside there. And basically, I think an earthquake probably won't even move this. So here's another trick. What I use is, you have the ground here, and we build a step-up wall. So this step-up wall and this step-up planter, what it does is it takes 2 feet off my retaining wall. So by having all this buttress support on the bottom, this 2-foot wall, I'm now only 3.5 feet high, 4 feet high instead of 6 feet high. And this wall and this dirt and all this makes the stress on this wall so much smaller. It helps a lot having these step down walls all the way along your garden. And they're great for planting because they're raised beds, more or less, and you're taking the pressure off the wall, which makes it a lot easier. Okay, so this here is a different type of stone wall. So you're up there at 0, and by the time you get back to here, you're at 3 meters. So what happens is, these stones are basically, the best way to describe it is they're stacked in front of each other. So what happens is, this rock, or this rock, is hooked into this rock here. This rock is hooked into this rock here. This rock here is hooked into this one. And what I mean by hooked in is the front of this rock is hitting the face of this. So it can't go forward, it can only sag backwards. That's the only thing you can do. A wall like this, the best thing you can do is fill the spaces with high quality topsoil, the best topsoil you have, because you can't get at this ever again. And so if you fill it up with really good stuff, this will happen. It'll fill in completely. And what we do as an additional trick is we add these cement planters in here with cages so we can grow things that are protected and can grow up higher than the rest of the wall. So this wall here, once you complete this, it's forever. You don't have to do anything else. The only thing you have to do is keep an eye on, you know, this is a blueberry, it's overcrowded a bit, but you basically keep an eye on your wall and the plants. That's it. That's the end of the job. And you can get from 0 to maybe 2 meters by sloping it 3 meters sideways. That gives you this incredible power to get up a hill and to protect the top of a hill. This is a different type of stone wall, and I'll explain it. So what happens is every stone has the same shape. And what I mean by that is, this is the shape. A front and quite flat, and it points towards the back. So your face is here, the angle goes this way. So that locks in there incredibly well. Why? Because every rock has that unusual shape of going backwards. All these are very narrow, very flat, hand-picked. So again, this wall, you can't move it. This will be here forever. This English ivy is going to take over this wall. So if you're not very skilled at this type of work, you can get the plant material to hide everything that is here. It can just basically make the wall go away. But, you know, having a beautiful wall behind this ivy is a skill, and you might as well do it because it's not hard to do. It's just pick yourself 100 of these flat layered rocks, find 100 of them, and then do your arch. These look really good in arches because you can turn them easily, because again you have the same system. The wall is never a straight line through. It has stones that go to the next crack, a stone that goes to the next crack. The crack is here, so you're carrying over the strength of it. So that's how you make these types of stone walls, forever stone walls. But always test them, because if you have children running up and down these walls, make sure that they're not going to fall down. The strength is really important. You can just use your foot, your arm, you can walk on it, and if they don't move, you've done a good job.